All right, yo, we just got the emu reveal, and everybody's making videos on what emu's power might be, what the ability Devil's Fruit means, but I'm not seeing anybody talk about what emu is or where emu is actually from, and I have a slight theory that may or may not be correct. That's why it's a theory, but let's talk about it. Cue the intro.
I'm laughing, but it's a laugh of impatience. Show the movie.
My theory, and I haven't seen anybody talk about this, my theory is that emu is a fallen angel. Now, I have seen, I'm gonna be fair, I have seen people say emu is a devil, yada, yada, yada. We do know that the heaven realm does exist, and I feel like a lot of people aren't really given this type of context with it because they don't really have the background. If you study the Bible, I grew up in the church. I know the story of Lucifer, who is the devil. Lucifer is essentially a fallen angel who got kicked out of heaven for trying to be a god. Now, here's where things gets crazy and where my facts start to line up. All right. Everything for the world government is based on godly things. Like major wise, what? The Holy Land, celestial dragons. There seemed as many gods, right? So I'm thinking, okay, that gives me the basis of saying, yo, maybe this is emu's version of doing whatever he can to try to get to God, and he is infatuated with being God. Now, he is kind of like a god now, except he's the god of the world government. If I remember correctly, emu doesn't really have any basis in Elbaf because Elbaf isn't really aligned with the world government. Harold was trying to be aligned with the world government, but I believe, if I remember correctly, that went south. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So that kind of gets me to the point of like, yo, this is where emu is basically a fallen angel. Now you're going to say, okay, if emu is a fallen angel, where the heck did he fall from? Now, it is confirmed, like I said, there is a heaven realm in One Piece. And here's where things get funny. Do y'all know where the heaven realm is in One Piece? It is the topmost place in none other than Elbaf, all right? My theory is that he gets kicked out of the heaven realm. At this point in time, we don't really know anything else about the heaven realm. We don't know anything. So we don't know if he could have gotten kicked out, if anyone kicked him out, whatever. Obviously, this is just a theory video, but I'm saying he got kicked out and that's where he got to where we're at now. It also could explain why when emu came back, as soon as he touched down in Elbaf, he started coughing up the blood because or the black goo or whatever the heck it was, because he's too close to heaven. He's too close to heaven, knowing that he's not supposed to be there anyway. We also have some other things as far as like his powers. Emu has been known to have the tail. He's been known to have the wings, kind of similar to an angel and things like that. If you look at how emu looks, he's kind of he's beautiful. He looks like he could be an angelic creature. Now, a lot of people are trying to theorize, like, obviously this is in the manga, so we don't know like his skin color or the colors that Oda has chosen to use for emu. A lot of people are theorizing that he could be brown skin like a Lunarian, or he could be like plain red like a normal devil. My theory, I tend to lean more on the brown skin. The Lunarians aren't actually from the moon, but they're from the red line. They inhabited the red line, which is obviously where emu and the world government, that's their home base. So a lot of stuff kind of adds and points together. Now, I'm not saying that emu himself is a Lunarian. I'm saying that he's somewhat of an ancient giant from Elbaf, more specifically the heaven realm. And that could explain why emu is freakishly large. That could also explain why emu were getting the reveal in the Elbaf arc. I feel like where Oda can go right now, I feel like what he could do is give not necessarily like a backstory on emu. I feel like it's still a little too early for that, but maybe a few chapters down the line, once we get the conflict resolved between emu and whoever shows up. I've seen Brago, so other people say that, yo, Shanks or whoever might be showing up, whatever the heck happens. After all that, that's when we get like where the heck emu comes from and who he is. I feel like right now doing that, it will be the pacing will be weird because all of us are kind of anticipating like, yo, let's see Shanks fight, or not Shanks, I just said the Brago thing. Let's see Luffy and Loki. Let's see what they can do against Imu. I'm thinking they won't be able to do much, but that's my thoughts on that. When you put that in perspective, the next thing that goes to your mind is, okay, how does his power, or how could his power work in this case? Honestly, I don't know how his power works, because from how Oda put it, ability, Devil's Fruit, he doesn't really have a devil fruit. You know what I'm saying? He probably can make devil fruits, but then again, it conflicts to what our original belief with devil fruits were. And it was that the humans kind of wished alive the devil fruits in a way. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. So maybe Imu can do that, and that's how, you know, that's one of his abilities. And that's how he gives the Gorosei whoever powers and stuff. I feel like that, I don't know if that's his main ability. Obviously, we've been seeing him spam the Domi Reversi. But yeah, as far as his ability, his power, I'm completely lost on what it could be. This could be, again, where we see Imu, the person who is trying to be a god and has failed, or kind of failed, because he's won the wars. Joy Boy lost to Imu, which is crazy to see how stacked Joy Boy had everything. But we can see how Joy Boy, the sun god or whatever, you can look at it as being like him being like the actual representation of God in One Piece, kinda. And how Imu, who's trying to be Joy Boy, how they can always conflict. So in my head, it makes sense. The Gorosei obey Imu like a god. Imu is working in the shadows, kind of like people will say the devil is working in the shadows. Oh, it must be the devil. I grew up in a Christian home, so I heard those stuff. It must be the devil. Anything happen bad, it must be the devil. Whole time it's Imu doing all the bad stuff. Whole time it's Imu. That's why I think Oda could go with it, man. I really feel like that's where it could go. And it makes sense just because if you put it more into perspective on like real world implications, a lot of people say that the government is like demonic. We just got the stuff with Trump, like, you know what I'm saying? So it would make sense how he's a devil, fallen angel. He once was someone who was beautiful. Maybe him and Joy Boy were cool back in the day. Who knows, bro? Maybe him and Joy Boy were cool. Imu got too comfortable, and Joy Boy like, hey, bro, you getting a little too big for your britches. And that's when, maybe Joy Boy kicked him out. I just thought maybe Joy Boy's from Elbaf too. We did get that fat behind hat back in the day. Y'all remember that fat behind hat we got? The straw hat. So maybe Joy Boy is a giant, and maybe he was the real god in heaven, and he kicked him out, and that's how we got everything spiraled. So yeah, bro. As far as the powers, man, everybody's gonna make a power video on what they believe Imu's power is, but I believe Imu is a fallen angel. I know this video was a little all over the place, but I appreciate you staying with me. If you love the video, like the video. If you don't know the video, select the video. I'm on the road to 600 subscribers. I appreciate you. Like my content, share my content. Without further ado, I'm out. Peace.
No, I do not panic. So I learned it.